pricing of 2-foot by 4-foot lane fluorescent lights installed in a drop ceiling with bulbs varies based on several factors. These factors include the specific region where the work is being performed, the exact type of light fixtures being used, and the overall complexity of the installation process. Assuming you are installing standard 2-foot by 4-foot fluorescent light fixtures equipped with electronic ballasts and using 4 bulbs each and that the working conditions are good, involving standard Romex wiring, the cost components can be broken down as follows. Firstly, materials. Light fixtures themselves generally range in cost from $25 to $40 each. The bulbs, assuming each fixture needs 4, add another $10 to $15 to the material cost per fixture. Secondly, labor. Electricians typically charge an hourly rate that falls somewhere between $50 and $100 per hour. The estimated installation time for each individual fixture is about 1.5 to 2 hours. Thirdly, markup. Electrical contractors generally apply a markup to both the materials and the labor costs. For materials, this markup is typically in the range of 10 to 20%. For labor, the markup is generally much higher, in the range of 50 to 100%. To determine a total estimated cost per fixture, let us consider the provided assumptions. The cost of materials ranges from $55 to $75. The labor cost ranges from $75 to $200. The markup, assuming a 50% markup, ranges from $42 to $150. Adding these components together, the total cost per fixture is estimated to be between $172 and $425. Therefore, a price of $150 per light fixture could be seen as quite reasonable, specifically if the installation is rather straightforward and the materials being used are standard. However, if the installation presents additional complexities such as dealing with very high ceilings or various obstacles that make the installation more challenging, the price will need to be adjusted upward accordingly. It is important to keep in mind that these are just estimates. The actual pricing can vary depending on the specific circumstances of each individual job. It is always recommended to solicit quotes from multiple electricians. This will ensure that you are receiving a fair and competitive price for the work. To elaborate on the factors influencing the costs, consider these points. The geographic location significantly impacts pricing. Labor costs and material costs fluctuate across different regions. Metropolitan areas, for example, generally have higher labor rates compared to rural areas. Material costs also vary based on proximity to suppliers and transportation expenses. The specific type of light fixture affects the material cost. While a standard 2-foot by 4-foot fluorescent fixture falls within the described price range, more advanced or specialized fixtures, such as those with dimming capabilities or energy-efficient features, can significantly increase the material cost. The complexity of the installation is another significant factor. Straightforward installations in easily accessible drop ceilings command lower labor costs. However, installations involving difficult access, high ceilings, or the need to work around existing obstructions increase the installation time and, consequently, the labor costs. The type of wiring used can also influence the overall cost. Romex wiring is a common and cost-effective option for many installations. However, if the project necessitates more robust or specialized wiring, such as conduit, the material costs and labor costs will increase. The condition of the existing electrical infrastructure plays a crucial role. If the existing wiring is outdated or in poor condition, it may need to be upgraded to comply with current safety standards. This adds to the overall cost of the project. Permits and inspections are often required for electrical work. The cost of these permits varies by location. The time required to obtain permits and schedule inspections also affects the overall project timeline and cost. Contractor overhead and profit margins must also be taken into account. Electrical contractors have overhead expenses such as insurance, vehicle maintenance, and office administration. These costs are factored into their pricing. Additionally, contractors aim to make a profit on each project, which is reflected in their markup on materials and labor. The warranty offered by the contractor can also influence the price. Contractors who offer longer or more comprehensive warranties may charge a higher price to cover potential warranty claims. The level of competition among electrical contractors in a given area affects pricing. In areas with many contractors, prices are often more competitive. In areas with fewer contractors, prices may be higher. The time of year can also play a role. During peak seasons, such as the summer months, demand for electrical services may be higher, leading to increased prices. The energy efficiency of the chosen light fixtures affects long-term costs. While energy-efficient fixtures may have a higher upfront cost, they can result in lower energy bills over time, which can offset the initial investment. To provide more specific guidance on obtaining accurate quotes, follow these steps. Firstly, gather detailed project information. Before contacting electricians, gather detailed information about the project. This includes the number of fixtures to be installed, the type of fixtures, the location of the installation, and any specific challenges or requirements. Secondly, obtain multiple quotes. Contact several licensed and insured electrical contractors in your area and request detailed quotes. Be sure to provide each contractor with the same information to ensure accurate comparisons. Thirdly, review the quotes carefully. When reviewing the quotes, pay attention to the breakdown of costs, including materials, labor, and markup. Also, check for any hidden fees or charges. Fourthly, ask questions. Do not hesitate to ask the contractors questions about their quotes, their experience, and their warranty policies. It is important to fully understand what is included in the price. Fifthly, check references and reviews. Before hiring a contractor, check their references and read online reviews. This will provide insights into their quality of work and customer service. Sixthly, confirm licensing and insurance. Ensure that the contractor is properly licensed and insured to perform electrical work in your area. This protects you from liability in case of accidents or damages. Seventhly, negotiate the price. If you are not satisfied with the initial quotes, try to negotiate the price with the contractors. Be reasonable and respectful, and be prepared to compromise. Eighthly, get a written contract. Once you have chosen a contractor and agreed on a price, get a written contract that outlines the scope of work, the payment terms, and the warranty policy. Ninthly, understand payment terms. Clarify the payment terms with the contractor before the project begins. Typical payment terms involve an initial deposit, progress payments, and a final payment upon completion. Tenthly, keep records. Keep detailed records of all communications, quotes, contracts, and payments related to the project. This documentation can be helpful in case of disputes or warranty claims. To further clarify the cost breakdown, let us examine each component in greater detail. Material costs encompass the cost of the light fixtures, bulbs, wiring, and any other necessary components. The cost of the light fixtures varies depending on the type, brand, and features. Standard 2x4 fluorescent fixtures are generally the most cost-effective option. The cost of bulbs depends on the type, wattage, and lifespan. LED bulbs are more energy efficient and longer lasting than traditional fluorescent bulbs, but they also have a higher upfront cost. The cost of wiring depends on the type and gauge. Romex wiring is commonly used for residential installations. Other types of wiring, such as conduit, may be required for commercial or industrial installations. Other material costs may include connectors, junction boxes, and mounting hardware. Labor costs encompass the cost of the electrician's time and expertise. The electrician's hourly rate varies depending on their experience, qualifications, and location. The estimated installation time per fixture depends on the complexity of the installation and the electrician's efficiency. Additional labor costs may be incurred for tasks such as removing old fixtures, running new wiring, and making electrical connections. Markup is the percentage that the contractor adds to the material costs and labor costs to cover their overhead expenses and profit margin. The markup percentage varies depending on the contractor's business model, overhead costs, and desired profit margin. A typical markup on materials is 10 to 20%, while a typical markup on labor is 50 to 100%. To provide a more comprehensive example, let us consider a scenario where you are pricing the installation of 9 2x4 lane fluorescent lights in a drop ceiling using Romex wiring. The light fixtures cost $30 each, the bulbs cost $12 each, and the electrician charges $75 per hour. The estimated installation time per fixture is 1.75 hours. The contractor applies a 15% markup on materials and a 75% markup on labor. Firstly, calculate the total material cost per fixture. The cost of the light fixture is $30. The cost of the bulbs is $12. The total material cost per fixture is $30 plus $12, which equals $42. Secondly, calculate the total labor cost per fixture. The electrician's hourly rate is $75. The estimated installation time per fixture is 1.75 hours. The total labor cost per fixture is $75 multiplied by 1.75 hours, which equals $131.25. Thirdly, calculate the markup on materials per fixture. The total material cost per fixture is $42. The markup percentage on materials is 15%. The markup on materials per fixture is $42 multiplied by 0.15, which equals $6.30. Fourthly, calculate the markup on labor per fixture. The total labor cost per fixture is $131.25. The markup percentage on labor is 75%. The markup on labor per fixture is $131.25 multiplied by 0.75, which equals $98.44. Fifthly, calculate the total cost per fixture. The total material cost per fixture is $42. The total labor cost per fixture is $131.25. The markup on materials per fixture is $6.30. The markup on labor per fixture is $98.44. The total cost per fixture is $42 plus $131.25 plus $6.30 plus $98.44, which equals $277.99. Sixthly, calculate the total cost for 9 fixtures. The total cost per fixture is $277.99. The number of fixtures is 9. The total cost for 9 fixtures is $277.99 multiplied by 9, which equals $2501.91. Therefore, in this scenario, a reasonable price for installing 9 2x4 lane fluorescent lights in the drop ceiling using Romex wiring would be approximately $2501.91. This equates to approximately $278 per fixture. This comprehensive breakdown helps to illustrate the various factors that influence the pricing of electrical work. By understanding these factors and following the steps outlined above, you can ensure that you are getting a fair and competitive price for your project. Always prioritize safety and compliance with electrical codes when undertaking any electrical work. If you are not comfortable performing the work yourself, it is always best to hire a qualified and licensed electrician. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides standards for safe electrical installations. Familiarize yourself with relevant sections, such as Article 410 for luminaires, lamp holders, and lamps, and Article 320 for armored cable, often used as Romex. Additionally, consult NEC Table 310.15b16 for allowable ampacities of insulated conductors. Remember that local codes and regulations may differ from the NEC, so always check with your local authorities for specific requirements. If the job involves running new circuits, ensure the wire gauge is appropriate for the amperage. For example, a 15 amp circuit typically requires 14 gauge wire, while a 20 amp circuit requires 12 gauge wire. Adhering to these standards ensures a safe and compliant electrical installation.